Elite Facts presents
Unsolved Mysteries from Around the World.
5.
In 1932, Lily Lindstrom, a 32-year-old divorcee, was making a living as a prostitute in Stockholm. One night, she didn't report for work. She was found bludgeoned to death in her apartment. Near her body, a blood-stained ladle was found, and police determined the murderer used it to drink her blood. The murderer was dubbed the Atlas Vampire, and despite an intensive police investigation, the killer was never identified.
4.
In 1996, Zach Ramsey disappeared on his way to school. Known child molester Nathaniel Bar Jonah was suspected of kidnapping him, but there wasn't enough evidence to obtain a warrant and arrest him. But in 1999, he was arrested. During that investigation, Zach's name was found on a list of other children, all in Jonah's handwriting. Chillingly, a coded message system revealed recipes titled Little Boy Pot Pie and lunches served on the patio with roasted child. It was believed that he had been serving his victims to unknowing guests from a barbecue. There was also an old meat grinder found that contained human hair, and child's bones were found buried at his former home. DNA was taken, however, it didn't belong to Zach. Though convicted of other charges, there was no evidence that he killed Ramsey, and his fate is unknown to this very day.
3.
Georgie Makarov was a Bulgarian journalist who had defected to England, where he became a BBC broadcaster. He would quite openly mock his former communist government of Bulgaria. While waiting for a bus, a pellet full of ricin was shot into his leg. The weapon used was a high-tech umbrella gun. He died a few days later, and the killer still has never been found.
2.
New York's most prolific serial killer has never been caught. Known as the Long Island serial killer or the Gilgo Beach killer, is responsible for at least 10 murders, possibly rising to 17, right up until 2013. Most of the dead were sex workers, but victims also included a toddler who was never identified. The NYPD says they cornered the prime suspect in Times Square in 2009, but he eluded the frantic searches after a phone call was traced from there.
1.
Ken McElroy was unanimously hated in the small town of Skidmore, Missouri. He was accused of theft, violence, and all other kinds of nasty things. Somehow he managed to elude the law, but the citizens had enough. So it came as no surprise when he was gunned down in the street. There were 30 to 40 witnesses to the murder in broad daylight in the middle of the town's main street. Coincidence struck, though, as all of them claimed to be ducking for cover at the time, and nobody saw a thing. The killers were never caught.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.